I'm Mark here. Monday, April the 20th. It is 7:50 a.m. Eastern. That's 11:50 a.m. GMT. US session about to get underway. Let's have a look how the market shapes up this morning going into the US session. US dollar index, after a strong fight back on the end of last week on Friday. There's the big wick you can see after being as low as 97.50, went all the way up to close at 98.01, and then gapped higher to start the new week. 98.25 is my resistance right now, but US dollar is being sold off. That's through the Asian and European sessions. We'll see once the US session gets underway now if this sell-off does continue, the downtrend continues, sellers break below this 98 level again, or if buyers do step in, like we saw on Friday, bounce up off this 98 and look up at the 98.25 resistance. But so far, weak US dollar to start through the Asian European session. We're waiting to see now during the US session if that does continue. Let's have a look at the S&P 500. A strong week last week, record highs above that 7,000 level. There's that strong Friday. We saw really strong in demand for US equities across the board. Gap down to start the new week from closing at 7,160, opened the new week at 7,104. Looks to be a little bit of demand at this stage in futures trading and buyers trying to get that price back up. Demand for equities above the 7,100, looking up at the previous resistance from Friday. We'll see whether that does continue. Wall Street opening up in about an hour and a half, or if sellers do step in and sellers look to maybe take a breather, some profit taking, have been overbought, technicals as well. That could all add up to a bit of a retracement and sellers look below the 7,100. We'll wait and see how that does play out. Gold certainly off to a good start this week, still pretty flat and has been comfortable between this 4,700, 4,800. That's been the range over the past few days, probably the last week. You can see today, after a gap lower to open, closed last week at 4,836, opened at 4,754. But demand for gold this morning, buyers looking to test this resistance. We'll see whether that can continue. If buyers can get above and maintain above that 4,800, or if sellers step in and we see below 4,800 and sellers testing the support at 4,744. Let's have a look at Brent oil. There's a strong sell-off we saw at the end of last week. Gapped higher to start the new week from a close of 91.50 all the way up to 97. That's a big gap higher, but sellers have stepped in again. Continuation of selling off, optimistic or optimism certainly surrounding the Middle East negotiations. I've got resistance at 97.08. I've got support at 94.08. Sellers will look down to test this 94 support to get back to the 90 or below. On the other hand, buyers, a bounce up off this area, off this level, would see buyers testing the 97 and looking to get back above that 100 level. And then let's have a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin, there's the weekend. So from the highs and the close end of last week at 77,000, all the way back down, we've seen now to 73,000, but buyers have bounced up off this support level and looking to test the 75.6 thousand on the upside. We'll see whether buyers can break above this 75, 76,000, get back to the 77 or 78, look to test the 80,000 on the upside. Alternatively, if this retracement does continue, if sellers do step in again, they'll be looking to bounce down off this area around the 75.5 and come back down to test the 73.5 or lower towards the 70,000. But certainly to start the new trading week through the Asian European session, so far we are seeing demand for Bitcoin. Good trading, keep that discipline, and I'll see you at end of day.